Hey guys, it's Heidi. Welcome back to my channel. Um, yeah, the wheel bearings have finally arrived, so I am very pleased about that. And um, so when my brother's got time, maybe the weekend, maybe tomorrow or Sunday or whenever, he will fit the wheel bearings for me. Then I can actually take my car to get the wheel alignment done, and then go see two other friends of mine in George, get some business done in George, and then come home. Now, the other day took her out into town. I went to buy a little bit of grocery, and yeah. Um, so when I went around the corner, I was hearing this kind of rattle sound, and I thought, oh no, man, because I've now emptied my car out of with all my camping stuff, and um, so that I could hear for any rattles. Because my brother's been asking me, and I'm thinking, I travel around with my camping stuff, everything rattles. And so I emptied the car out. So it's back to normal car, four-seater car. So on my way back from town, or on the way to town, I hear this strange rattling sound coming from the back. And I thought, dear Lord, not now. I cannot deal with anything else going wrong with my car because I've spent a fortune on the repairs for the front of the car, for the CV joints, the ball joints, the lower control arm, tie rod ends, and all that stuff. So, yeah. Then I spoke to my brother about it, and I said, I don't know what. I said, and then it was last night, yesterday afternoon, I think it was. It could have even been this morning. Might have been this morning. Um, I spoke to him and I said, please, when you do um, the wheel bearings, just check my wheels at the back because I don't know what this rattling sound is. You know, and I Googled it, and it was yesterday because I still spoke to my friend last night about it. Um, hmm. And they came up with diff noise, Google, diff noise, and all kinds of other wheel bearings and stuff. So I thought, Lord, I cannot deal with this anymore. I cannot have any more problems with my car because I'm now ready I've got to the point where, you know what, whatever. Just whatever. If the car's working, it's working. If it's not working, I must stand. And then I got this crazy idea to hike through the country. And I thought, don't do that. You live in South Africa. Probably not a good idea. And I mean, we've got a beautiful country, but there's also some crazies out there. Um, yeah, so a person needs to might be careful. Um, yeah, that reminds me of a guy that pitched up at my gate. Yeah, he comes and he pulls into my driveway, but my gate is closed, so you can't get into my yard. So I go and it's just on dusk, just it's getting dark, and um, he sticks his head out the window and he's talking to me. Now, of course, because I'm hard of hearing, I can't hear what this guy's saying, and of course he's as high as a kite. So I open the gate and I go out and I stand right outside his driver's door and I talk to him. And he was looking for some other place. And I said, no, you are at the wrong end of town here. You've got to go back wherever. So I explained to him where he needed to go with a general idea. I said, it's over there somewhere. You must go and look. So he says to me, how did he put it? Oh, thank you for not being scared of me. I looked at him. And I said, well, why must I be scared of you? Because now I'm thinking to myself, you're sitting in the driver's seat, your door's closed, I'm standing outside. If you're trying to open the door and cause nonsense, I'm going to just shove you back in your car and shut the door on you. And I looked at him, I said, well, why in the world should I be scared of you? I said, there's lots of angels standing around here, so I don't need to worry about you. Anyway, but this guy was seriously, he was as high as a kite. Anyway, get back to the subject, Heidi. Stop chasing squirrels. Anyway, so I don't even know why I told you. Yeah, I get easily distracted, guys. Oh, hiking through South Africa, and some crazies out there. So, anyway, the people generally, you know what? The people in South Africa generally are nice people. Um, the ones I've met. Look, in the cities, it might be different. I don't like cities. I tend to stay away from them. Um, yeah, and when I was still teaching first aid, and my friend, she picked up a very nice contract, but we had to teach in the rural areas. Um, the rural areas were fun, no problems there. But some of the townships where we had to go and teach, I didn't tell my mother where I was teaching. I just said, no, I'm teaching in Joburg. Well, it wasn't a lie. I was teaching in Joburg. I just didn't tell I was teaching in Alexandria. And Alexandria, I don't know, one of those big townships there. I didn't tell her that because if I told her that, she would be pooping herself anyway. And then, yeah, so that is where we were teaching. And then, of course, in Nkandla and a few other places. And I found a lot of the places, the people were actually quite nice, except when I went to Standerton, because there's a culture difference. This one culture, the people that I was teaching. Now it was myself and another African lady that were teaching, and it was a mixed class. There was men and women in the class. Now generally, I put in the class. I suss the class out to see now, can I put a man with a woman, or do I need to put man with man and woman with woman? And of course, when I'm busy demonstrating first aid, I just pick a volunteer and I say, you come sit here and I'll do something. And I'd asked a man to come and sit down and he refused. So I said, well, what's the problem? And then they explained to me that in their culture, a woman is not allowed to touch a man. So I said, okay, I can respect that. Um, so now I'm thinking, okay. So I asked him, I said, what happens if there's a man that is injured and there's nobody there to help except a woman? What then? Must a woman just leave the man to die, or can she actually perform first aid on him? And then they said, no, in that case, they are allowed. So, of course, in that class, I had to put male with male and female with female. Anyway, but I learned a lot of these different cultures here in South Africa because, I mean, we are called the Rainbow Nation for a reason. We are definitely the Rainbow Nation. Anyway, um, yeah. Okay, so get back to your car, Heidi. Yeah, so I thought of, okay, I won't be hiking through South Africa. Look, I enjoy walking. I really do enjoy walking. Um, and I also like being out in nature. But yeah, so I was just thinking, if my car doesn't come right, then maybe I'll just do that. I'll go for pack a backpack and hit the road. And I thought, no, don't do that. Anyway. So I was speaking to my brother about the rattle that I heard in the back of my car. And then I said, well, unless there's something in the boot that's rattling. And I thought, but I emptied the car out. And the only thing that's in my boot is the oil and a few other things that is needed for the car. I've got oil, antifreeze, a puncture repair kit, some other stuff there. And then, of course, my first aid kit. And I started pushing on the sides of the car with the panels. You see now it's something loose here. Then I found my little tripod thing I'm playing with. All right. This was in the boot of the car, but on the one panel there's a little, like a little cubby on both sides where you can actually put stuff. And this was laying in the cubby. And of course, with it being plastic and this thing being metal, every time I went around the corner, this thing moved, and that is what I was hearing. Because I went to town today, and of course, this thing wasn't in the car, it was here in my house. And I didn't hear that noise. So I can just say, thank you, Lord. I just pray and hope that that noise I was hearing was this thing. Anyway, so yeah, my car is starting to make headway of getting completely fixed. Um, yeah, I've picked up a nice house sitting job for the end of the month. Yeah, it's about, I don't know, 8 or 9 days, 10 days maybe. So we'll see. Um, yeah. Anyway, okay, guys, I see I got another subscriber. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you for the ones that have, the faithful ones that have been from right from the beginning with me and are still with me. And thank you for all the others. Thank you for joining us. Um, yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to show you some different content. And I see there's a little button here, and that's to make the ball move. I didn't know that. There's a button here, this thing, yeah. So if you push it that way, you can move this thing. This thing's got a thing where you put your phone on, which is on the tripod where the phone's standing on now. Because the one that was on here broke. So, yeah. Okay, guys, now I'm waffling. Lots and lots of love. Bye.